Shweta, so what childcare challenges did your employees face before you started a childcare benefit, an on-site or even an off-site benefit for SAP?
Yeah, and I think our journey to start Saplings has been more than a decade now, and we do a lot of listening exercises with our employees, and at that point in time we realized that they were especially new mothers as well as fathers and people who had small children were really struggling to kind of balance with the childcare needs.
Right.
And this came as an ask from them, saying that can we have something really close to office, and that's how the conversation actually started. And we said, why not we have it as a part of our with our campus, considering that we have such a beautiful campus. It would be wonderful to have a childcare center which is just almost sharing the same boundary wall, that kind of really helped address the challenge of new parents. They felt that they have their small kids close to them. They could really go and meet them. It also kind of relieves them for the stress of somebody else looking after their child when they don't really have a visibility of what time they will go back or how do they manage the office timings. So it was really greatly helpful for us to address all those challenges.
Did you go in believing that it would reduce maybe stress around childcare and therefore better productivity?
Absolutely. And we actually saw the data for that, especially, when we looked at new mothers. They used to take longer to come back to office. Yes. And then we started slowly observing that because there was saplings with us, their return to office was, much faster. Because they knew they could get the kid along with them. They had a place that they could trust with the child's safety and well-being.
Yeah.
And they also had an opportunity to kind of visit the child whenever they wanted to in between the breaks. So it was less stress for them. There's related to more productivity, and we actually had done a survey and a study at that point in time which absolutely corroborated what our assumption had been, that people really felt that this was a great benefit and it helped them to kind of be more present at work.
Right. How did you choose your partner, KLAY? How did you manage to sort of integrate? Did you think of certain points or certain things that essentially the childcare partner should have?
Yeah, so I think for us it was extremely important that here is a childcare, organization who understands our needs.
Right.
We have, a diverse workforce. We have also people who work at different hours. We, even pre-pandemic, Shruti, we always had the flex benefit. So
True.
We wanted a child, care partner who understands that there could be people who would come in a bit later, come in early. Also the kind of demographics we had. We wanted somebody who could start a bit early with the kids, even, at 6 months, and, we could really understand the needs of what our workforce was really trying to say. So that empathy is what we were really looking in our childcare partner, somebody who could really understand our needs and work accordingly and be flexible. I think that's something which was very, very important for us. We wanted the best. We wanted somebody who really kind of came with, the subject matter expertise, the understanding of children and the right kind of teachers, the ratios. All those were very, very important factors for us, because that's the kind of focus and importance that this topic really had with us. And we worked around that, and that was one of the criteria for us, that somebody who understands the space.
So, Shweta, tell me, when you decided, you chose a partner, were there any metrics that you were looking at? Did you want certain indicators? Did you say that, because this is a long journey even for parents and children.
Yeah.
Did you say that once we start, maybe once a year or once in 2 years, we will also see and measure how your internal metrics from an employee benefit standpoint is gaining?
Yeah, so we do constant surveys. So in the beginning, it was even more frequent. We tried to kind of speak to the new parents who were putting in. We also went to those who were not adopting.
Right.
Because, we do realize it's a very sensitive topic. At the end of the day, you are leaving your child with somebody else. So we wanted to understand how do we kind of increase the confidence of those new parents to trust, saplings and, have that kind of a, understanding. So we really had those internal surveys which told us a lot of data, and that was something which we constantly discussed with KLAY, to come up with new ways in which we could address their concerns and challenges. We also have our internal surveys. We run a survey called unfiltered survey, and as a there is an element called business health culture index, which just measures on how do people feel and whether they feel they are in a psychologically safe space. There also we could kind of draw some inferences that people really trusted and wanted. It helped them to be a little more ease at work when especially for the new parents. We could find a lot of comments used to be that I'm thankful for KLAY and I'm a new parent, and this is something which was a great kind of validation that some of our efforts around these were playing us the right results.
Did you also hear in your Unfiltered about parents deciding or taking the move to have a second child because there is saplings?
Yes,
like
yes, that too. We did hear, about that, where somebody said, I know and now I have seen it with my first child, so I feel a little more confident that, with my second one as well, I can go here. So we have a lot of, such parents. We actually have a lot of couples inside the organization. And for many of them, this has been the place where children, their children had grown up. And that's a great validation as well.
How do you see KLAY has adapted as you've also grown? I mean, we've been doing this for over 10 years with SAP and happy to do it. But have you seen us adapt with your needs of how you look at employee benefits and grow?
Absolutely. So, one of the ways in which we have done that, Shruti, is that we do have a parents' council. These are parents of, children who go to saplings, and they are, a big factor in decision making for us. What kind of facilities we should have, we felt that there is a need for us, for parents to have more access to the children. So, whenever there is a need, we have always been very, very transparent and open with KLAY that these are the things that we want, and we have found them very flexible. Of course, you do have your guardrails, and we fully respect and understand that, and you need to observe that. So not that everything that the parents are coming that you need to accommodate it, but within the guardrails we have found KLAY to be extremely flexible with our needs. For example, the school going children, that's something which was a great benefit as well. The buses coming and dropping the children at different times, because school buses have different times, and many of the parents really wanted that their kids come here rather than going to an empty home. Even then, if they are slightly older, we felt this is something which KLAY was able to accommodate very well in the after school program. So those are some of those aspects which we felt and we appreciate a lot in that partnership, that we are fully transparent and in that mode of listening and acting on it.
Right. You not only do an on-site, which is a captive just for SAP employees near your office, you also opened out some part of the KLAY's network.
Yes.
So does that benefit for people who live far off?
Yeah, because we realized when we did a demographic study, of course, we do have a lot of our workforce concentrated in the Whitefield area, but we do have a lot of them who also travel because of various reasons from different parts of Bangalore. And having started and been with that experience with KLAY really helped us to now kind of also trust with your regular centers. And that's again one of the areas which we explored further to kind of have partnerships with some designated KLAY centers based on the demographics again where people stay, so that they could also utilize the services there.
Yeah, and we're happy to partner with you in your newest Devanali project as well.
Absolutely. And I must tell you, that was one of the first tasks when we started designing, you know, a
Yeah.
new campus, and how beautiful it has come
It
out.
has, indeed.
You know, one of my own team members' daughter has enrolled there, and one of the first things she came back and said that, you know, she doesn't want to come back. She doesn't want to come
Awesome.
back home. And what a wonderful, you know, a feeling that was, that we have created a space, you know, and I think her daughter is 2 years old.
Okay.
And she looks forward, you know, to
One of the
being-
first few ones to begin. The site is new.
Yeah.
We are equally excited, and I
Yeah.
think the best testimony is if child comes
Yeah.
to the creche and then doesn't want to go
Yeah.
home. No, nothing more than that.
That was
would be
beautiful, and you know, we
satisfying.
kind of built it in the design stage itself.
Right.
You know, that was one of the first. We had a long list of asks, but this was
Yes.
not negotiable at all for us. You know, we
Yes.
wanted a childcare center within our campus because we have our own piece of land. You know, we wanted to kind of design it the way. And yeah, that's one of the biggest USPs right now for our people to feel that yes, we are providing them, you know, a place where they could be with their children.
Yeah, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you so much.
Yeah. So on a more quantifying note, Shweta, how do you use having an on-site or even a childcare tie-up to help with your recruitment level?
Oh, it's a big you know, a USP for us. You know, it's one of, and you won't believe, Shruti, how much actually women candidates as well as men ask for it. You know, they are one of the things that they, you know, once they have passed through the interview stage, or even before that, is they ask us, do we have something? And by word of mouth, now Saplings is very well known. So many of them actually come and say that, do I get an admission? You know, will there be a wait list, and how sooner? And that becomes a great, you know, employee value proposition for us when we are, you know, we are trying to get young workforce into young families into the SAP family, for them to know that yes, we have a childcare center, which is where they can, you know, have their kids and, you know, and feel, you know, they feel that, you know, the kids are well taken care of.
Right. Does it help with retention as well?
Yes, it helps with retention as well, because this kind of, you know, convenience
Right.
is not something that they would find at many places. So,
Right.
you know, many employees actually came back and said that, you know, this is one big reason
Why
also they would want to kind of continue with SAP, because this is so convenient for them. So yes, it's certainly a retention measure for us.
Do you measure it, Shweta? I mean, is there
We don't kind of measure it.
Surveys
like
is what you said.
Surveys, and you know, obviously exit surveys and all that is something when, you know, people actually write that I'll miss, you know, saplings. That is one of our indicators, even when people have to leave about it. But we don't directly measure, you know, that aspect as much.
would you at some point maybe
With
think
now
of?
with Devanhalli being there, and we are hoping that you know, there is continued interest in enrolling children, and we do want to measure that as well.
Right.
You know, now that we are, you know, expanding in big way.
You talked about the unfiltered survey. Did you find any unexpected comments or derived benefits of having a childcare on-site and off-site sort of policy?
There are, you know, not through the survey, but I do, you know, when employees come in, meet me on one-on-ones, and especially, you know, when we speak to parents, and I must tell you that a couple of years back, we started this Nurture Network, which is our community of new parents, and there's a lot of insights, you know, that we get, and then there are conversations, you know, on kind of creating a community, and you will realize that there are people who are no longer, whose children are no longer that young that they can be in saplings, but they have kind of now become the mentors, and
Right.
for, you know, for the new parents, telling them that if you have any questions with saplings, come to me, I can help you. You know, so we could see that there is a little bit of a saplings community now.
Right.
You know, and that is great for us to.
No, it's good to hear, because
Yeah.
we rarely hear that. Our hope is that we create better parenting journeys
Yes.
than when you joined
Yeah.
KLAY.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's wonderful
Yeah, so
to hear.
we already, in fact, we would love for your team to come and, you know, share some insights with
Oh,
our
yes.
Nurture Network, because that's what was the next step. You know, we wanted to create a community where people can lean on each other, and in those conversations, saplings is a very common thing. There's a lot of conversations
Yeah.
on saplings, so that's great to see.
How do you see it impacting leadership? So, one is, how does leadership feel about fresh as a benefit? Number two, do you see young mums and dads sort of staying on and then growing to leadership as well? Both those things.
So I think we are very fortunate that our leaders are very, very supportive of saplings. So much so that, Shruti, that whenever we have our board members coming in, they make it a point to take out time out of their busy, schedule, and they make it a point to share that when they go back to Germany about how wonderful this experience was. And this was, I think, a trigger point for us to start similar centers in some of the other SAP, offices as well.
Right.
So that's great. We get some, great support. And, at the end of the day, I think it certainly helps us when it comes to retaining women leaders. And, you always hear about, the challenge of a leaking bucket, that there's a certain time where it becomes difficult, for women to kind of aim for leadership opportunities because they have too much on their plate to handle. And I think this is one of the things that helps them, where they feel they're more confident to now apply for bigger roles, for broader opportunities, more challenges, because one part of,
they don't have to worry about
their life is handled, with the help of saplings. So for sure, yes, I think that certainly is a big boost and a great, kind of peace of mind for them to now think about bigger challenges at work. And we have seen, a lot of sapling parents, kind of now, take on to big roles and opportunities, at least raise their hand, because I know at the back of the mind they feel much more at peace and satisfied with how their kids are being taken care of.
Yeah.
In fact, interestingly, we have realized that we had a few cases where, I don't know if you remember, we had actually a case where we had a child whose uncle actually had enrolled.
Yes, we had taken approval
for that,
Yes,
and that was a very unique, unique case, due to some very pressing family reasons, and that was wonderful for us because he was the guardian, for the child. So I can see, it kind of expanding to the expanding definitions of families. Right, and I think we have to be more and more open to that realities, that there could be single parents, there could be same gender parents, and those are also the realities of the world that we are living, and we would want to embrace all kinds of parenting. Right? So that's the next area that we are going to really work on.
That was my question about future outlook and how you want to see it. But Shweta, let me ask you this. I mean, if there are organizations that are maybe not as large as SAP or widespread as SAP, if the organizations are looking at building a childcare benefit policy, what would be your advice to them, how to start, how to sort of take the journey forward?
I do believe that doesn't matter how big or small you are. I think this is now table stakes. This is like the basic benefit that every organization should build in as a part of their benefits portfolio. We live in times where most of the families are nuclear families. There is not so much of a childcare support from extended family available. There is a need. So in the beginning, it might be a small, part of the workforce who will engage in it. But over a period of time, like I said, you build a community and you keep on expanding to that.
Right.
So I would really, suggest that first and foremost, they should do a need assessment, but don't restrict even if the numbers are small. For us, the philosophy always was that even if there is one parent who's benefiting it out of it, we would go ahead and do it. And look how in more than a decade, how large that, that whole experience has been. So the numbers should not really drive that, but the need assessment is important to understand what are parents looking for.
Yes.
What kind of place is what, they feel would be the right place for the children. And then kind of partner with a with a partner like KLAY, where you can have open, transparent conversations on what kind of models we work, what kind of timings, what kind of flexibilities would make sense of. We are also looking, because we're talking about the future of the childcare benefit, we also have a neurodiverse
children
we have to
populations,
really now start looking at, I have parents also of neurodiverse children who would really require, and there the need is even more sensitive, even more this thing. So I think over a period of time, this just expands. But they should do a need assessment. They should ask, listen to the voices on the grounds and design, a policy which is empathetic and flexible.
Yes.
And I think that's the best way to start off, and then you keep on expanding as you grow.
Thanks, Shweta. That was so good to chat.
Thank you so
wanted to
much.
ask you about neurodivergent, but you did bring it up.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You and I have had conversations.
Yes,
Like that, Shruti.
yes.
No, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for being such a wonderful partner. We couldn't have really done this without you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.